I'm Cassidy,
And I'm Kennedy.
and this is Threads of Wealth.
Welcome back to Threads of Wealth. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different and a lot more personal. I will be sharing my experience with my 10-day Parasite and heavy metal detox. I'll be sharing what the process looked like, how I felt, what I learned, and answering all of your questions about what this cleanse entailed. I want to reiterate that I am not a medical professional. I'm not giving medical advice, and everybody's body is different. I'm just genuinely sharing my experience and what I learned along the way.
Okay, let's talk about the H2 tab for a minute, because I'm curious how you utilize it. I personally notice the biggest difference when I take it right away in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then I always have it at night before I go to bed too, but I notice the difference the most when I take it right away in the morning, just in my increase in my energy and starting off the day right with hydration is huge. So how do you use it?
Same. First thing in the morning, I wake up and I take my isotonics with a hydrogen tablet. I look forward to that, and I know the importance of not starting your day immediately with coffee. And so that isotonics has been a really incredible thing to substitute, to wake up first in the morning, take that isotonics, take that H2 tablet or that hydrogen tablet. And then Tanner, for example, takes it in the afternoon, a little afternoon pick me up. So I don't think there's a wrong way to go about it, but I love starting my day with it. I also love ending my day. I put a hydrogen tablet in with my magnesium drink at night. I recently went on a trip to California and I forgot my tablets and I forgot my isotonics, and it's probably a mental thing too, but I just felt off. I just felt different. Yeah. And I could not wait to get back home and to reintroduce that into my routine, because I can just tell the difference it makes, like you said, in my energy levels and how I feel. And just that molecular hydrogen, fueling your body.
Yeah. And speaking of travel, seriously, everybody can relate to when you travel, your digestion is off, your energy is off. I feel like whenever I don't forget it and I take it consistently when I travel, I keep on track with digestion and everything feels normal. Yeah. And that's been a game changer, because I used to really struggle with that.
Yeah. And it tastes good too. I mean, it's really hard to find things that are good for you and you look forward to taking. And so the isotonics, in my opinion, taste really good. They have the raspberry flavored hydrogen tablets. They also have unflavored tablets if that's, your kind of a vibe, but they have all the options and everything's on their website, h2tab.com, and you can receive 10% off with the code Threads of Wealth.
Okay, so today we're talking about you just got done with a Parasite and heavy metal detox, which I'm super curious about because I've never done it. And I think a lot of people have heard about it, but I feel like that's just now people are starting to actually do it more around here.
Yeah.
Why would someone want to do this kind of a detox in the first place?
Yeah, well, first I would say I used to be in that group of people that I have heard about it, but honestly, to me, it kind of felt like a little woo-woo. Okay, we're kind of stretching to find things that are going to help us. But the more I looked into it, the more I was kind of captivated by what it could do for me. For me, it stemmed from kind of a long history of different health things. And I've never had super intense or chronic health issues, but always just been little annoyances like digestive health, gut health. I've had eczema basically my whole life. And it came back with a vengeance when I was pregnant with Noah. And so I think just those little annoyances that I experienced in my day-to-day life, I would notice I would eat a meal and be extremely bloated. No matter if it was the healthiest meal I've ever had, I would still struggle with those issues. And I just felt tired constantly. I had I would say chronic fatigue, and sometimes emotional things would come out of that where you just didn't feel like yourself. You knew that if you were the healthiest version of yourself, that you should be feeling different and better and more lively. And I wasn't really feeling like that on a day-to-day basis. And so I think that's where my want to do this cleanse really stemmed from, was just trying to heal myself and be the best version of who I could be.
And we all know like how prevalent heavy metals are around us. Like you just can't escape them, even if you're aware of them and you know like kind of what to avoid.
Right.
You just can't completely avoid them. And so it's something everybody can relate to a certain degree.
For sure.
So it's 10 days, right?
It's actually technically 16 days. It's 10 days of the complete protocol. So the protocol is they give you a list of different things that you have to do morning, afternoon, and night. But 16 days, I say, is because there's like a suggested 3-day soft start and soft finish. So it's basically just like preparing your gut to, you're not fasting, but preparing your gut to detox, preparing your body to detox. That 3 days is when you cut out all caffeine. It's when you focus on eating soft foods so that your digestive system is easily able to like adapt when you start to add in the tinctures and the binder, and we'll talk more about that. And then the soft finish is kind of the same, where you just went through this intense 10-day detox, and if you just wake up the next morning and be like, hey, let's go get a breakfast sandwich, or let's eat a bunch of carbs, or have a cup of coffee, that's going to not really be good for your gut, you know? So 10 days of the complete protocol, but 3 days soft start and soft finish is what they recommend.
Okay, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That, you know, because I'm sure it's like a big adjustment on your body.
Yeah.
Okay, what did it all entail? So from like walk us through kind of the soft start, and then walk us through what your days look like in this detox.
So the soft start, Tanner and I did this together. I will say he did it last year, but I was very freshly postpartum. I think Noah was like 5 days old, so I obviously didn't do it. They do not recommend doing this detox when you're pregnant or nursing. Just a little disclaimer there. But we started on a Saturday, so we did 3 days. We cut out caffeine right away. And we really
how was that, first of all?
It was not good.
That would be
a horrible
like
state.
Immediately I'd be like, no, not right now in my life.
I would say I felt like going into it that I didn't drink a whole lot of caffeine. I also think I have like an emotional connection to coffee, which probably sounds really ridiculous, but I go to bed excited to wake up and drink coffee. And so
100%.
One, it's just like the routine of it that I really missed.
Yep.
But 2, I had a really bad caffeine withdrawal headache. And if you've ever tried to cut out caffeine, or at least cut back, and you've had that caffeine withdrawal headache, you know it is terrible. It is unlike anything. I don't know. It's just on a different level, and you're not supposed to take any medicine, or you're not supposed to really do anything, because that, and you know, any medicine or anything that you put in your body is not technically part of that 3-day soft start or that protocol in the cleanse. So you eat a lot of fruit. You can eat as much fruit as you want. They really say you want to focus on eating organic because of acidic parasites. Acidic parasites are in like all animal byproducts, and also in, you know, non-organic fruit. And non-organic fruit is, you know, sprayed with weed killers and glyphosates and pesticides and all those stuff. And so that automatically comes with a whole nother host of parasites. And so you just kind of want to avoid doing that. But you can eat soft foods like potatoes, avocados, sweet potatoes, stuff like that. And so you're not starving yourself during those 3-day soft start, but it's really just like, I would say it was more mental for me than anything, because I was out of my routine. And 2, I was also cooking for Noah, which I think it made it even more difficult, where I was just like, it's so easy. I'm making her spaghetti, and it's so easy to just like, I can have one bite, but I couldn't. And so it was mental for me. Yeah. But then when we started the protocol, so every morning you wake up and right away you drink your psyllium binder. So the binder is a mix of a husk powder, a activated charcoal, and a bentonite clay. So it's this powder that you put a tablespoon in Concord grape juice, so organic Concord grape juice, and they want you to mix it with that grape juice because it's an antioxidant. And it's kind of terrible. It doesn't really taste bad. It smells really bad, but it's really thick. So just think about like you're drinking activated charcoal. So
essentially it's not replacing your morning coffee.
it is definitely not replacing your morning coffee. I went to bed dreading drinking my binder in the morning, whereas opposed to looking forward to drinking my coffee. So you do that first thing in the morning, and then you have to wait an hour until you can eat. And the binder, basically, it is exactly how it sounds. It binds all of the toxins together so that it's easier for you to release them. The heavy metals, the parasites, it basically just like lumps everything together instead of them all floating around, so that when you go to release or go to the bathroom, they come out easier. So after an hour, you can start eating fruit. Throughout the whole 10-day protocol, you can eat as much fruit as you want, organic fruit. I will say I was excited about that because I love fruit, but by the end of the 10 days, I was like, I probably won't eat fruit for a while because you just kind of got sick of it. But after the hour, you have a bowl of fruit, you have your Biomedic. It's a Biomedic capsule. It's basically just a little pill that helps protect your gut. And then you drink a kidney tea. So they send it to you. You put like a teaspoon of this like loose leaf tea into a steeper, and then obviously boiled water, and you drink the tea. And the tea is good. I mean, it doesn't taste bad, but it's very bland. So again, it doesn't replace the morning coffee, in my opinion. But you do that, and then you take your tinctures. So you take 3 tinctures every morning and every night. It's a liver and gallbladder tincture, a parasite, M&G tincture, and then a heavy metal tincture. So you could just take like a dropper full. They taste really horrid. So like you can put them all in a cup and like a little splash of water and help it go down a little bit easier. But you do that, and then after that, you are good for a little while. You just go about your day, have it as much fruit as you want. I really liked avocados to kind of like mix things up a little bit. At lunch, they send you a power shake, and it's all like plant-based protein. So no animal products, no animal byproducts throughout this entire cleanse. But it's like greens and apples and stuff like that. And it doesn't taste bad, but it's not like a normal protein shake. And so you drink that. You have your amino acid pills that are, again, just like plant-based protein. They send you everything you need to like maintain your nutrients. You're not supposed to starve. You're not supposed to fast during this whole thing. And so you eat those. And then at some point during the day, you do your enema. And this was something that I think I was most nervous about because it sounds intimidating. But by the end of it, I was looking forward to my enema because it provided just so much relief. And so I don't know how much we want to talk about the enema, but you just like administer it. And if you don't know how to administer an enema, they send you a video on how to do that. And you like use coconut oil to make it more comfortable and stuff like that.
So it really does like just clean you out. Like
really just cleans you out. It's crazy. And whatever, I think everything's on the table at this point. So I'll just talk about it. But so when you first, like the first day I did the enema, it's crazy because you can obviously feel the water like going into you. You're laying on the ground with your feet in the air and you're feeling that water go into you, and immediately feels like you need to go to the toilet. But they talk about like really just taking deep breaths and massaging your stomach to allow that water to go further into your colon so that it's able to release more. And so again, you're not really eating like hefty stuff. So at the beginning, you're releasing like you normally would, but like towards the end of the detox, you've just been really eating fruit and pureed soups. And so there's not a whole lot of work that your digestive system is doing, but you can like see the water that you're releasing after you administer the enema has like that black film of just like everything that is detoxing out of your body, which is crazy. But I felt so good after I did the enemas. So I really looked forward to that. But then anyway, you go throughout your day, and then at night they send soup recipes that you can eat. They highly recommend pureeing all of the soups just so it's easier on your digestive tract. And then the same thing, you drink the tea, you take your Biomedic, you take your tinctures, you wait an hour, you take your binder right before bed, and then you wake up and do the same thing all over again.
Okay. Wow. So you mentioned withdrawals from the caffeine.
Yeah.
But as you went through the process, what other reactions do you think that you saw in your body as toxins were being released?
I was shocked at how soon I felt the symptoms of the detox. They send you a whole PDF of like what to expect, and they basically like guide you through the whole process so you don't feel confusion or you don't feel alone. And they list normal detox symptoms, but I was feeling them from the end of day one. So I probably had headaches for the first 4 to 5 days, and they weren't like the same as the caffeine withdrawal headaches. They were just like, your body it just hurts. My back pain, so I had back surgery obviously when I was, how old was I? 17. And my back pain was the worst it's been since before I had surgery.
Really?
I could hardly move. And you're supposed to be able to carry on with your normal day-to-day activities. Like you can go to work. You don't have to like take time off work. So I was teaching classes at the studio. And then I remember coming home and like trying to get Noah ready for daycare or like playing with her on the floor. And I just like anything I did, my back was throbbing, sitting, laying. I couldn't sleep the first 2 nights because my back hurt so bad. And then once I kind of got through that, I felt like a different human. The first few days I was super tired. Like I think day 1 through day 3, I took a nap, which I never take naps, but they really talk about like, listen to your body. Like these are normal symptoms. Your body is doing a lot of work to release all of this gunk that's inside of you. And so listen to your body. And so I took naps the first couple days. I was just constant body aches, stiffness, like my neck got super stiff. I couldn't really move my neck around. And again, you can't take like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen to like, I feel like you normally would in a day-to-day life feel like, okay, this pain is annoying. Let's just take medicine. It's really allowing your body to heal itself, which is in the moment kind of annoying because it takes a while, but looking back, really cool what your body does. So I think all of those, I just hurt, I think, really bad for the first 5 days. And then once I got over that hump, I felt like a different person.
Yeah. So on the flip side of that, then what were the results of this? What did you notice in your body, and what did you see after you got past that hump? And now as you're even done with it, what were the effects of it?
So I think after day 5, I started to have more energy, more natural energy. Obviously, like you can't have caffeine throughout this entire process, but I was still teaching morning classes. And so when I teach a morning class, I'm usually up by like 3:45 or 4. And normally that's early in the morning to me. And so normally when my alarm goes off, I'm like setting 4 or 5 alarms to make sure I'm not oversleeping. And then I'm snoozing and I just dread getting up, and it takes me a while to get going. But what I noticed then was that my first alarm, I was up and I already had that like clear mental focus and I was ready to go. I didn't feel like I needed to crack open an energy drink or take a cup of or drink a cup of coffee, because I just felt like that natural energy and it was sustainable through the entire day, which was really crazy to me because I feel like I've never had that without relying on caffeine or some sort of pick-me-up. I will say once I got to day 6 of the cleanse is the hardest of them all. Yes, you're starting to feel better, but on day 6, the protocol looks different. So you're still doing your binder in the morning. You're still doing like all of that stuff, but you have to fast after 2 p.m. So on every other night, you're eating your soups. You can't eat soup. You can't eat anything after 2 p.m. that day. And you can't have anything fatty. So like no bananas, no avocados throughout the entire day. And then that night, you have to take a 4th cup of water with a tablespoon and a half of Epsom salt, or if you have like the Calm brand of magnesium, that will work too. That's what we did because I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to drink Epsom salt. But you drink that at 6 p.m. and then you wait 2 hours and drink it again at 8 p.m. So another tablespoon and a half of magnesium or Epsom salt and a 4th cup of water. And then you wait an hour and then you mix a 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil with a half cup of organic pure grapefruit juice, and you have to drink that within 15 minutes. And then after you drink that, you're supposed to go right to bed. So I will say that was probably the worst part of the cleanse for me. It tasted disgusting. Getting a really clean olive oil is very important. I don't think I will ever get used to drinking olive oil, and I don't really love grapefruit juice either. But the purpose of that is to flush out your liver and your gallbladder. And the grapefruit juice breaks down like the stones. So we all have like stones on our liver, gallbladder, and they're not like actual stones. They're basically just compiled composites of bile that our body stores up over time that can't release. And so that's the purpose of that, is to the next day then release all of those. And they literally look like little green and yellow pebbles. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So, but then once I got through that day, then I was feeling great. I will say on day 8, because the protocol is 10 days. On day 8, you're like, I am almost there. You're feeling really good. On day 8, I became extremely discouraged because I got out of the shower and my eczema was the worst that it's been in a long time. And I'm thinking okay, I'm on day 8 of this. I'm actively detoxing. This shouldn't be happening. And so I messaged the company who administers this cleanse. And I asked them about it, and they just reminded me that it's 10 days for a reason, and your body goes in different phases of the detox. And so what your body was doing day 1 through 5 was great, but that was just the start. And we're going into a deeper phase of the detox. And your skin is also your body's largest organ. And so what your body is detoxing is going to be absorbed through your skin first. And so they're like, that's what you're seeing. And I will say, now that I'm done, my skin has never been so clear. I can't find a patch of eczema on me. And I can't even tell you the last time that I have felt or experienced that. I still have that natural sustained energy throughout the day. I'm obviously drinking coffee again, but it's because I love coffee. I don't feel like I need it. And I feel lighter, if that makes sense. They talk about the detox being both physical and emotional, and the emotional side of it to me still kind of seems a little bit they send you sage, and they send you a wood to burn that's supposed to get rid of negative energy and stuff like that. And that's, to me, I'm I didn't really resonate with that side of it quite yet, but I can understand the emotional side of it, because after I finish the cleanse, you just feel more positive. You feel lighter, and you have that I don't even know how to describe it, but I think coming out of postpartum, you kind of always have that fog and maybe probably negativity for me. And I just felt better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you find any parasite? Did you have any parasites?
Oh my gosh. Did I have parasites? It was gross. So I will say the first few days I was scared to look, and the point of the tinctures is to kill the parasites, and they're not going to come out of you unless they're dead. But for some reason, this is going to seem extremely irrational, but I hate snakes. And I was I'm going to look in the toilet and there's going to be a thing slithering around, and I don't want to see that. And that's not the case at all. But I had to work myself up to looking
to see.
I had tapeworms, I had rope worms, I had hookworms, I had all this stuff.
No
and
way.
They're long. They're long. And you also release a lot of mucoid plaque, and mucoid plaque is basically just gross junk that is stuck to your intestines. And so it literally is I don't even know how to describe
That's
it.
crazy.
It's my hand. I could have picked it up and put it in my hand of just a mucoid plaque, just gunk that's just been sitting at me. And it's not technically a parasite. It's called a ropeworm, because usually they're long and they're thick, but it's the stuff that was coming out of me was extremely concerning. And while that's really gross, then I was I would rather
relieving.
have them out than
100%. It actually gives you it validates that
Yes.
why you
Yeah.
were doing it.
Because part of me, you go into something like this and you're like, I don't know if this is even going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you hope it does, but you don't really know. And then you see all of these worms that are coming out of you, and you can tell they're worms. They're like, you know, white, long, stringy things. And you were like, wow.
Did Tanner have them after he did it a year ago and then he did it again?
Yeah.
Did he have them again?
He did, not as many, and his detox symptoms didn't last as long. So
Yeah.
this was his second year doing it, and we kind of told each other that we'll probably do it annually. You know, it's just a good reset. And because I guarantee, I mean, I finished this a week ago, and I guarantee, you know, if everything that I've consumed and just been exposed to, I probably already have parasites in me again.
Yeah.
So it's just a good reset, but he had a lot better of an experience this go around. And I think it's because of that maintenance. Like
Yeah.
he did that a year ago.
Right,
But he was
exactly.
definitely still releasing
Yeah.
parasites. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It was
crazy.
funny because he was like, we would do our enemas at different times, and I would get a text, and like I was scared to look right away, but he wasn't. And so I got a text from him one night. He was in the bathroom and he's like, hey, can you bring me a plastic knife? It's basically because he wanted to like, he pokes
poke
them
at
and
it.
then pulls them out and then to look
at it.
length. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, yeah, this makes me want to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of questions from Instagram that you put out there. Did
Yeah.
you get tested for parasites before you decided to do the cleanse? Did you know you had them before?
I did not get tested, and I don't think, and you don't have to get tested. You can,
Yeah.
obviously, and everybody is different. So if like that's something you want to do, go for it. I did not get tested because I think everybody has parasites. Whether you think it or not, everybody has parasites. The United States is one of the very few high income countries that doesn't actively have like deworming programs for the general public. And so you would just think about it, like parasites are in fruit, they're in all the chemicals, they're in all the things that we are surrounded with in our daily lives. They're in meat products, animal products. It's, I think, similar to what you said at the beginning with heavy metals. You really can't avoid them in the world that we're living in. And so obviously people are going to have, you know, more or different experiences with them. So I didn't get tested. I just knew that because of like my gut issues, that even if I didn't see parasites actively like come out of me, it was probably just a good reset for me regardless.
Would you change anything about it if you do it when you do it again?
I don't think I would change anything about it besides I think I would try to hone into the emotional side of things a little bit more. I think this time I was really just like trying to get my mind right and get through it. It was really hard for me mentally, especially when like, you know, you have friends texting about like the new iced latte recipe they're trying, or like, hey, who wants to go get Mexican tonight? Like all of that stuff is really hard. Even the stuff that you have in your home that you're looking at and can't do, or it's so easy to be like, oh, the binder's disgusting, I don't want to drink it tonight. It was really hard for me mentally, but next time I think I would really like try to lean into that side of things. And I think it could make my experience a lot better. I did try to journal throughout the experience, just like I've been trying to get better at journaling regardless, but like what I'm feeling and all that kind of stuff. But I think I would try to do better about that as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it, someone asked if it's recommended for kids?
The 10-day detox is not recommended for kids. They say they can't recommend it for people under the age of 18. But so Sanctuary Holistic Wellness is where I got this kit from. They do have kids detox bundles. So if you go on their website, and like we can put it in the show notes, there's a kids bundle, and it includes like a gentle gut detox. And it also includes like this powder that has a bunch of different like herbs in it that is supposed to be like more gentle on a kid's body. But they don't recommend the 10-day detox. So just go on the website and see. And that kids bundle is recommended for kids ages 2 and up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just maybe share what I can't remember what you said the brand was, but share that. We'll put it in the show notes, like you said, and then share anything else that you need to get for this.
Yeah. So Sanctuary Holistic Wellness, they're based out of Utah, is the company that I went through. They send you everything that you need for the cleanse. So you get a huge box at the beginning of the cleanse, and it includes everything I talked about. It includes the binder. It includes the Biomedic, the tea, the steeper for the tea. It includes a copper tongue scraper. It includes the sage, quartz stone. It includes the enema bag. It includes the amino acids, the power shake, all that kind of stuff. So anything that you could possibly need for the kit besides the fruit.
Okay.
They send you a really long PDF that explains how to properly go about the protocol. It also sends you 10 different soup recipes that you can have at night. You can also have them for lunch, like leftovers. I did that too. So the only thing that you really need to buy is all the organic fruit that you want, and then the organic ingredients for the soups.
Okay.
So, and the Concord grape juice and stuff like that. But really you would be buying groceries regardless. And so I didn't feel like, I mean, produce is kind of more expensive, especially if you're buying organic, but it didn't seem like that big of a deal to us, just because we would be trying to buy that regardless. So, but everything else they send you, and it's very straightforward, and they are super responsive. Their customer service is super responsive. And so like, if you have questions, they're always there. I did reach out to them. Actually, it's kind of an expensive detox. I think it's like $370 or something like that. That includes everything you could possibly need. I think it's worth it because it's like 16 days and they send you everything you need. But I did reach out to them, and they offered to give me give the people listening a discount code. And I don't get any commission off of it. It's just me sharing a product that I believe in.
Yeah.
And so we'll put it in the show notes and on social media too. But if people use the code Kennedy Frick, they'll get 10% off.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you recommend it?
I recommend it, and I will be doing it every year. I will say, if you do it with somebody, it's a lot easier. The accountability is huge. It was huge for me. Doing it with Tanner was great. But I recommend it 100 times over.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing it with us.
Absolutely. Happy to.
We're going to kind of shift things a little bit, because at the end, we're going to do more of these when the episodes of just you and I talking more about bringing awareness of like what's happening in our country along the health and wellness, in the health and wellness space. So I have a couple of things that I brought to talk about that has happened in the last couple of months that we can just like, to share about. But I think it's really helpful to know, for me personally, like it's really important for anybody to know what's going on in our country and world. But then when we care about health and wellness the way that we do and be sharing about it, it's really important and critical to understand. If we want to change things, then we need to be aware of what's going on. So one of the things that has recently happened, and I had an idea that, doctors weren't trained necessarily a whole lot on nutrition. I didn't know to what extent. So medical schools, just recently, more than 50 medical schools across 31 states have agreed to add 40 hours of nutrition education starting in 2026.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't sound significant, but I learned that currently most medical schools are offering 1 hour of nutrition training every year.
I had actually heard that before, and I don't know where I heard that. It might have been from our cousin who's in medical school, but when I heard that, I was a little bit flabbergasted. Like, how are we supposed to be, again, I've never gone through medical school. I'm not a doctor, but to me as a person with a child, knowing what fuels my body, I'm like, how are we supposed to be taking care of ourselves and healing ourselves if we're not focused on the nutrition aspect?
Yes, exactly. And I mean, people that supported this and had advocated for it and I think we all know that doctors are mostly trained on how to issue medication to combat these chronic illnesses instead of understanding how food can really shift that. I think I experienced it personally a few times. I tried to bring up in different doctor appointments, like asking about different food, like would this be good for this or would this not? And the answer I got was always just very like, well, there's no studies to prove that. And so it's not no fault to the doctors. That's not the point of this, but they only know what they're trained on in medical school.
Even like I've been to a few like more holistic doctors, and I still feel like nutrition isn't really at the center of it. And again, I'm not a doctor, and so I don't know, but I feel like it's still like take a food sensitivity test and then just like cut out that stuff instead of like focusing on healing ourselves with our nutrition. But that's actually amazing. Like 40 hours doesn't feel or seem super significant, but little steps of progress that we can make is huge. And I think that will just like lead into inspiring or encouraging other medical schools or other states to do the same thing. Did you look in, you said 50 medical schools?
50 medical schools across 31 states, I think.
Is South Dakota one of them?
I don't think so. So what do we have? USD.
We just have USD.
Yeah. So it's a start. We still have a long ways to go. I think we could do a lot more than 40 hours, but it's a start. And I think we sometimes want it to be like either all or nothing, but we have to realize that, especially when it comes to like change is hard. And so we have to start somewhere.
I wonder how that came about. Like if it was a med school or a med student, or if it was somebody that is in office, or if it was somebody that was, an administrator or a professor at a medical school that was like, took the chance and was like, I'm going to be bold in my opinion and say something. And I think that's how it can be argued that that's how any sort of change happens. Like you just have to be bold enough to stand up for what you believe in. And like, me and you sitting here, anybody listening to this podcast, like we can all be a part of change if we're just bold enough to like stand up and,
and raise awareness.
For what we believe in and raise awareness.
The more that we talk about it and we get more people talking about it, the more that change will happen. Because I mean, for instance, like, and this isn't even what I was going to talk about, but Target now not selling any, cereals that have dye in them. It happened because of consumers choosing not to buy that cereal anymore, so they didn't have a choice. Right. So like if we all collectively get on the same page and we raise awareness, and we have a lot more power than we think we do.
Yeah. No, we absolutely do. Target was it May 31st of this year that they're supposed to have all synthetic dye cereals off the shelves?
I think so, yeah.
Which is really amazing.
I never thought that I would see it that soon.
No, and like this might be something I shouldn't say, but I view Target as a little bit more progressive. Yeah. And so like for them to be making that kind of a change is really encouraging for me. Yeah. Because I'm like, if a company like that is willing to understand the importance of it, or maybe they're not quite understanding the importance of it and just know like what's going to keep consumers coming in and like buying their products, they're at least listening. And that's what we have to do. Same thing with like the whole glyphosate issue. Earlier this year in February, there was a bill proposed in Congress that would basically not allow manufacturers or producers of like weed killers or glyphosates to have immunity from people that think they have like an injury or a, I don't know, some sort of like condition from those pesticides. Yeah. And so a bill was brought to Congress it's called like the no immunity for glyphosates. And I didn't like go back and study like what all happened, who all voted for it and who didn't and stuff. But basically there was then like a presidential executive order that took that bill away basically. And because I know that especially in a state like South Dakota where agriculture is a top industry and like agriculture is huge for us, and like our family is farmers, and like I love farmers, you love farmers, and we understand the importance of that. But I think there are different ways that things can be done. Just because they've been done like this for years doesn't mean that we don't have the right to question it. And just because that bill wasn't passed on a federal level doesn't mean that we can't make change on a state level. And so like, if that's something that you're passionate about, go talk to locals or state leaders. Like I'm in a community of 15,000 people, and I know the people that serve in the state legislature. Like, go talk to them and be like, hey, is this something that could be reasonable that we could at least talk about? And I think just it goes back to what we were saying about, the nutrition stuff in med schools, and just be bold and stand up and fight for what you believe in.
One more major policy change that I'm super excited about, and anybody that has kids and cares about this will, but the Whole Milk for Healthy Foods the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act was put into place January 2026, so just 2 months ago. And now schools can have whole milk and 2% milk along with 1% milk. So 1% milk was the only thing that was allowed in schools, which is crazy. So now kids can have whole milk, and so that's super exciting for me. I think it just shows that we're really making action and making progress on the low fat, shifting that mindset from the low fat diet that we it was so ingrained in our minds that low fat diet was the way to go. And so it's one step in the right direction. Now kids have an option to drink whole milk, and hopefully every kid will drink whole milk instead of 1%. I thought that was super awesome too. And I just think that in the crazy world that we're living in, it's easy to focus on the things that don't happen and the things that aren't going the way that we would want them to. But I think it's really important to highlight stuff like this because, one, we need to be encouraged that change is happening. We need to be encouraged that we can be a part of that change. And two, we should try to focus on the positives, because at the root of all wellness is our happiness and our mental state, and like who we show up to be for our kids and for ourselves and for our family and friends. And if we're constantly focused on the negatives and being like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, that's not what we're set out to do. We're set out to acknowledge, appreciate, and be excited about the stuff that's changing, and then go to work to continue to add to that list. I think that was the perfect ending. Good job.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. It's like we scripted it out.
I know. But we'll do this every one. I think it's great that we can
and
talk
then
more about some of this.
For our listeners, like if you guys hear anything or have questions about anything, send that to us in a DM or text us or anything, because we want to continue to raise awareness about this kind of stuff, and we think it's really important. So if you hear anything or questions, let us know.
Yeah. Talk to you next time. Hopefully you took something away from learning about Kennedy's Parasite and Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse. If you want to learn more about it, be sure to check out the show notes below, and feel free to reach out to her with more questions. And we will definitely be incorporating more headlines and health and wellness news articles that are coming out so that we can keep our audience aware of what's going on in our country. It would mean the world to us if you gave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts, at Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Threads of Wealth.